Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is Ali Tarnishi at Ali Dose of Inspiration. As promised, every Monday we bring guests from all over the world to share story of hope, rebirth, and resiliency. By doing that, we're giving people hope and a blueprint that it can be done when we have the right mindset, when we have the right mindset and the right attitude to get from where we are. Because all the story that I shared, it is people that they turn their tragedy to triumph, their struggle to success, and they bounce back. So today is no different. I have my friend Paul Fortune, and his story is really powerful. And what helped him is his mindset. Paul was born with cerebral palsy, and it was so severe that the doctor told his mom that he would never be able to walk. That so tough right there, just like somebody tell you you will never walk. And if you believe that and you take that as a label, as an identity to who you are, that's what you will believe, and you will think I will never walk. Thanks God for his wonderful mom and the great mindset. That wasn't his story. He was able to overcome it and is now able to live a very active life. However, it wasn't easy to get to that point. Today, Paul is a mindset coach. Paul shared his story with his client to write their own story. Please help me welcome Paul Fortune.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to come on today, or wherever you're listening to it, or morning, evening, night. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. So tell us a little bit, Paul, about this story of rebirth, of hope and resiliency. If we say, Paul, what is your bouncing ball story that you can say? Like I just gave the people, the audience, the iceberg of it.
Absolutely. Let me dive in. As you mentioned in my bio, I suffer from what's called cerebral palsy, and if your viewers don't know what that is, it happens at birth. It's lack of oxygen to the brain that can leave one side of the body paralyzed. And when I was an infant, my mom noticed I was not moving my right side of my body. She knew that something was wrong. So she took me to the doctors to get me examined. And that's when they diagnosed that I had cerebral palsy. And at the time, like the bio, the doctor said it was so severe that I would never be able to walk, that I should get used to being in a wheelchair. Well, thank goodness for a great mom. She didn't go with just that diagnosis. She got a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion. Finally found a physician that was willing to help me through this. And that's when my journey started with physical therapy pretty much every single day. And I don't remember this, but at age 3, I was able to defy the doctor's orders, and I was able to walk, which was, obviously a tremendous feat. And it was the start of my recovery process. I remember being put into soccer at age 5, and at the time I was only able to run 25 to 50 yards, and these other kids are running laps around the soccer field. And I remember going to my mom and going, "This is ridiculous. I'm making a fool out of myself. I can only run 25 to 50 yards, and these kids are running laps around me." And my mom said, "That's fine. If you don't want to play soccer anymore, that's okay, but you got to honor your commitment. You got to finish out the season. And after you finish out the season, if you don't play soccer anymore, that's fine." And that's basically what happened. I finished out the season. I've never played soccer the rest of my life. But I got I got a second break when I was 6 years old. I got surgery on my right foot to tighten up the tendon, and it basically took away the pain when I ran. I didn't test it out yet, but I changed schools right after that operation. And I remember my first day of PE, physical education. We did the stretches, and the teacher said, "Okay, go ahead and run a lap." And I'm thinking to myself, here we go again. I'm going to run this lap. I'm going to run 25 to 50 yards, and these kids are going to see that's all I'm going to do, and they're going to start teasing me. But this time was different. Because of my surgery, I was able to go past that point where I normally have to stop. And I remember saying to myself, "Come on, Paul, you got this, bud. Keep going, bud." And I finished the lap with the other kids. On the outside, I kept it cool, but on the inside, I was like, yes, yes, yes. The first time in my life, I actually fit in with the other kids. I didn't stand out. And things, because of my operation, got easier, but I wouldn't consider them easy. I switched schools again in junior high, which is a tough age. And so going into a new school at junior high and not having a disability, just being a new kid, is tough by itself. But I was a new kid with a disability. I walk with a little bit of a limp. I held my right arm a little bit differently. So I was being bullied and teased pretty much every single day. And on top of this, my mom wanted me to go to a Catholic high school because I was raised Catholic, and I had to take an assessment test to see where I was at academically. And I must have bombed the test, because when I met with the principal and my mom, the principal said, we're going to put Paul at the lowest level possible and don't expect much from him. He's not college material. So I had the principal saying that to me. I'm being bullied and teased in school. All I felt was anger and sadness all the time. And I don't know what came over me around midway through my 8th grade. I was sick of feeling these feelings, because deep down, I'm not a sad and angry person. I'm actually a very happy person. But because of my surroundings, those were the two go-to emotions that were going on in my life. So I thought to myself, what could I do to distract me from these feelings? So I thought, what if I set a goal for myself and focused in on the goal and ignored that noise? And at the time, I loved baseball. So I said, why don't I try to make my varsity baseball team in high school? So I played fall ball, winter ball, spring ball. And if I wasn't doing that, I was throwing a tennis ball against the wall. And I was doing this over and over and over again. And the great thing about this, and I didn't know this until later on in my life, just looking back at it, I was putting out a different energy to these other kids. It was more of a positive, uplifting energy that I had my shoulders back, my head forward. I was feeling more confident about myself. And as a result of this new energy that I was putting out to these other kids, instead of bullying and teasing me, they started rooting for me. So my high school career was much different than my junior high career, all because of the energy change I did. And I'm happy to report I was able to make my varsity baseball team as a junior and a senior, which was an awesome feat. And then I graduated high school. And I started now, and I had to make this pivot now. I thought, well, college, right? I was always told I wasn't supposed to go to college, right? And I thought to myself a lot at that point after I graduated about that conversation I had with that principal many, many years earlier. And I thought to myself, well, I just got this goal of being a varsity baseball player with cerebral palsy, which at the time was probably an impossible feat. So why not say that you are college material? Why don't you go after it? So I said, okay, let's make that the new goal. So I enrolled into a junior college. At the time in high school, I just did enough to get by, just enough to stay eligible to play baseball, because in the back of my mind, I always thought, what's the point? I'm not college material. So I enrolled into that junior college, and I took that 2.0 to 3.5. And then I transferred to a 4-year university, and I graduated from the 4-year university. And I so wanted to go back to that principal and say, see, I am college material. But you know what? Looking back now, I should thank her, because what if I wouldn't have had that motivation? She gave me a motivation that I didn't have to go after it as hard as I did, because I just wanted to prove that I was college material. So in the end, maybe I should thank her than anything else because of that. Wow. Now I'm a college graduate. I have no life experience whatsoever. I have no idea what the heck I want to do with my life, right? So I had a family friend that was a CEO of a bank, and he's like, why don't you try becoming a mortgage loan officer? I said, all right, why not? I got nothing else I'm going on. So I show up for work my first day, really excited to dive into this new adventure. And I got the cold shoulder from my coworkers. And the reason why I got this cold shoulder was because they knew that I got the job because I was family friends with the CEO. And they thought, well, he didn't do it from talent. He did it because of the people he knows. So that we're just not going to talk to him because he's worthless. So I'm sitting alone at lunch now. I'm thinking to myself, I didn't feel this way since I was in junior high. This is crazy. So I thought to myself, what did I do in junior high to go over? And then it goes back to the baseball. I go, okay, what attributes did I use to get to that goal? And it was put your head down, ignore the noise, and work very, very hard. So that's what I started doing. I put my head down and worked very, very hard. So if anybody asked me to do a task, I did it in a timely manner. I always had a positive attitude. And from afar, because they really weren't talking to me, is I was watching how the top produced loan officers conducted their business so that I could get an idea. And I remember when I was supposed to go out in the field for the first time, or which I felt I should go out in the field for the first time, that my family friend, the CEO, stopped me. He goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Well, I'm going out in the field. I'm going to get some loans." And he's like, "You're not ready yet. You need more training." You know, and I'm like, no, I got this. I got this. So I go out, and I'm going to tell you, I fell on my face over and over again, falling. Several months, I was just going out there doing, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting beat up by these clients. They don't want to do any business with me. Then I started to figure out what value I could add to them. And once I understood adding value to what they needed, things started changing for me. I started to get things into alignment. And 2 years later, I became a top producer. And some of these people that were ignoring me when I first started there now are coming to me for advice. So it was a real shift there. So it was great stuff. And I really was enjoying the mortgage industry for many years. 2008, 2009 hit, and the economy just totally changed. You know, got laid off from work. You know, found another place to work. And I was really losing the luster of the business because they were putting a lot of restriction on us on what we can and cannot do, and it just wasn't the same job anymore. And my life changed when this motivational speaker came to talk to us, and the guy blew me away. The guy was tremendous. And after the presentation, I made a point to talk with him and say what a great job he did. And he was very gracious. He allowed me to pick his brain a little bit. And he said he started as a life coach. I'm like, life coach? What the heck is that? And he explained what a life coach was. I'm like, you know what? I think that's what I want to do. So in between working at a mortgage loan officer, I was getting my coaching certificate. And I was telling people, I'm going to become a life coach. And people were like, you know what? Just get back to work, life coach. Get me loans and shut up. Life coach. What the heck is a life coach? And nobody was taking me seriously. And then and then things started to get real. I started to get my website going and getting everything going, right? And then the company's like, "What is this guy doing? This is a conflict of interest." So they gave me like rules and regulations, what I could and couldn't say in the coaching business. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm going to get traction doing both the mortgage and the coaching with all these restrictions. So I thought I'm going to have to make a tough decision and just go coaching because that's what I really wanted to do. So I said, okay, what do I got to do? So I paid off all my debts. I changed my spending habits. And then I came to the day where I'm like, okay, I'm making the move. I'm quitting the mortgage industry. And it was a tough decision because after I made that decision, there was a lot of people in the mortgage industry that have been my closest friends for many years kind of pushed back from me because they didn't understand what the heck I was doing. They thought I was committing career suicide by doing this. I'm like, no. And so I got into it, and I was, again, falling on my face. Nobody wanted to trust me. And this is, and I thought to myself, I don't know if I should I go back to the mortgage industry? Maybe I'm not cut out to be a coach. Then I started to think to myself, again, with the value, how am I going to add value to my clients? And I thought to myself, how am I going to have these people be vulnerable with me if I'm not vulnerable with them, if I don't share my story? Because the story that I told you about having cerebral palsy, I was embarrassed by that story all my life. And the reason why I was embarrassed by that story is because all through my childhood, all I wanted to do was fit in. I didn't want any special treatment. I wanted you to treat me like everybody else. I didn't want anything like that. And when I would talk about that story, I would almost burst into tears. I would get so emotional about it. And I thought, I need to embrace this. I need to embrace this. People need to know where I'm coming from so they trust me. So I started to open up about my story. And just by doing that alone, people started gravitating towards me, and I started getting clients. And then it snowballed. I get more clients, and I get more clients. And I started a podcast, and now I'm a podcast. So between my coaching program and my podcast, we're helping thousands of people. And I'm and with the COVID and everything else, we're just going forward and moving forward, and I'm talking with you and having a good time.
Amazing. That's very powerful, my friend. What you shared there, that's full of, you're just like a bouncy ball. The more life hits you, the harder you go up. And
Thank you.
what I really like about your story, Paul, is it start with this, with the cerebral palsy, and it didn't really stop you from there. And your mom, passion or energy or love for her son, she refused to take doctor opinion. And she asked for first opinion, second opinion, third opinion. So your mom is another bouncy ball that she doesn't give up. So she want the truth for her son, and she found it. And you try all that time just to fit in, and you were kind of embarrassed with that, with all that experience, and you try to fit in, try to prove yourself. You could even run 20 or 25 yards. And when you change that mindset, or after the surgery you did, you finally finished that line, and you went to the college, not the college, but to the junior school, and you start still people trying to bully you and stuff like that. But you change your mindset. They said, okay, you become uplifting. You have uplifting energy. So people, instead of, they were kind of bullying you, they tried kind of to be inspired by your energy and stuff like that. So you put your head down and you just work hard, and that's what keep you moving and keep you going. And then you move also to be working at, when you finish the college and you get all that stuff done, you get someone that you know that get you that job, and you start to feel that always, that bring out the memory back. Nobody looking at you, nobody try to associate with you, because you start to feel, maybe because I'm not fit anymore, I don't fit here. But what I like about your story, you always looking inside of your mind, that energy, that attitude, that mindset. That's what keep you going. That's what keep you moving to the next level, and not be a victim and say, why I was born with this, why everyone bullying me, why everyone that. But the moment that I really like, that's what the story of change and the story of hope. Everyone, if you see back and you read the biography of other people, you see the mindset and the attitude. The mindset and the attitude is the key. And the bad attitude is just like a flat tire, will get you nowhere. You just like your group going slow and everyone passing you. And I can see like two different, just like this Zoom call, there is Ali on the right and there is Paul on the left. So Paul on the left was just to fit in, was embarrassed and was like kind of hard on himself, was as a victim. But on the right side, he said, okay, if you want to be a life coach, I have to understand, I have to accept, I have people to trust me. So I need to know, they need to know my story. So I decided to embrace that, to accept it, and don't let anybody's opinion be my reality. And I think that's what you did there, my friend. As Lisa Brown said, don't let anybody's opinion be your own reality. Because others people, that's his opinion, doesn't concern you. We control what is inside. But others people opinion, let them say whatever they want. As Paul said, put your head down and work hard. I really love that. It's very powerful. And now when you change your mindset, Paul, and you feel that I accept who I am, I accept my journey, I accept where I came from, and thanks God for those challenges that I had. Did you notice a big difference? Did you notice like your coaching, your self-confidence, your direction?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a challenge because we're all human beings, right? We have we have times in our lives where we go negative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we got to be aware of that we're going negative, right? And we got to say to ourselves, these are just thoughts in our head. They're nothing more than thoughts in our head. And when you start to go down that rabbit hole of negativity, start to think about what you're grateful for right this moment. It could be your sense of humor. It could be a good job. It could be your health. It could be just you're alive if you're having such a horrible day. And really focus in on that, because if you do, you start to point out all the positive things that are going to happen during your day. Because you can go the opposite way, right? Like you referenced the flat tire. You're driving down the street, you get a flat tire, and you go, just my luck. This would happen to me. Bad things always happen to me. And what I would tell that person is, yeah, bad things happen to you because you're looking for all the bad things that are happening during your day. Change that. Look for all the good things that are going to happen during your day. Because if you do that more times than not, you're going to have better days than bad days just by doing that alone. Now, I'm not going to tell you just to feel happy to be happy. If
Hmm.
we're human beings, if you feel sad, you feel angry, you're entitled to feel those feelings. That's fine. But there's going to be a point in your life where you're going to say, I don't want to be angry anymore. I don't want to be sad anymore. And that goes back to that gratitude piece, to start to think about what is good in your life right this moment. And that's what I talk to my clients about, rewriting their story, rewriting their mindset.
Hmm. I really love that. What is good about your life right now? Because the more wherever the energy go, the focus go, and wherever the energy go, the emotion go, and emotion is just feeling, and they are like visitor. They come and go. So just let them come, let them do their thing, but don't let them stay there. That's the thing. I think Tony Robbins said, like, wherever energy go, the emotion flow, and the focus is focusing, as you said, Paul, is focusing what is good about your life right now. And probably as a life coach, Paul, mindset coach, must have a lot of client or different story and different negativity that they have, but they feel they are stuck. And probably, as Liz Brown said, if you are in the box, you don't see the label, or if you are in the frame, you don't see the picture. So as a mindset coach, probably people they see when they are stuck, they don't see the picture. They are in the frame. They are inside. So they are, why this happened to me? Why this happened to me? They see all the negativity. So can you share how the mindset help into that, or how you get people unstuck, like just from your
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I want, there's like a misconception with coaching. They always think that coaching, you need a coach because you're weak. No, that is absolutely false.
Mhm.
You get a coach because you're strong, and that you know what your weak, you know that you have weaknesses, and you want to do things to strengthen your weaknesses.
Mhm.
And anytime I hear somebody saying, "Oh, I have a life coach," or "I have this type of coach," I never think, "Oh, that's weak." I think, "Wow, they got an edge on most people because they're going that extra mile to strengthen themselves wherever it will be." So that by saying that, I just want to let you know that my clients are amazing people, and I learned a lot from my clients. I work from people that run companies
Mhm.
to stay-at-home moms, all through the gamut, and all of them teach me something. And whether it's a way of thinking or whether of doing things, it's tremendous. And the focus is on with my clients is I want to make sure that they know that if you have limits, it's because your mind is putting those limits on you. And it's my job as a mindset coach to help you break those limited beliefs. Now, I can want that for you, but they have to do the heavy lifting. I'm going to show them the other routes to go, but it's up to them to go after those routes because it's ultimately it's their life and it's their choices. So sometimes I have different roles. Sometimes I have to be that person, on these calls, or I'm giving them a big hug and saying, "Hey, things are going to be okay," this and that, depending on what state they are. And sometimes I have to spank them in the butt and go, "You know what? You need to get in gear.
Mhm.
You're lying to yourself." I have to be honest with them too. Sometimes I have to say things that they
Mhm.
may not like to hear, but I'm doing them a disservice if I don't say that to them.
Mhm.
That I'm not. Now I don't do anything to be brutally honest. I'm not like that at all. But I will say stuff. I will call them if they're not doing the things that we talked about them to do.
Mhm.
So, but it's been a journey. Let me tell you. But it's been great.
Amazing, amazing. I really like that what you share. People who are uh, using or working with a coach, it's not really a weakness. It is braveness that they know that there is some improvement that they need to work somewhere, and they can do it on their own, and they're asking for coach. And even coach, they have their own coach, and the coach have their own
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I have a coach. I have a business coach. He does a little bit of life for me, but most of the time it's business. But yeah, he life coach me a little bit too. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's a domino. Coach is coaching.
Exactly, because that is how we grow. Like it's sometimes we see things differently. Sometimes we are strong at a certain area. Sometimes we are weak at a certain area. So we associate ourselves with the people who are good at certain area, and they kind of give us not the shortcut, but kind of give us they did it and they succeed in doing it. So why I start from zero and waste time and money instead of just asking help from someone who did it and can save me 2 or 3 years, who can save me a lot of money. And you could have like so many coach, not just one, not two, not three, maybe five. One speaking coach, how to do your speaking, how to do like coach for money management, how to manage your money, coach for your emotional fit. I am an emotional fitness coach. And so there is coach for everything. But the problem with man, I'm talking for myself and the culture that we used to grow to, man, they are tough, they are strong, they don't show their emotion, they are not weak. We associate weakness to women, which is not true. Like if you cry, you are a baby, you are a girl, you cry. But that's not true. Emotion, let it out, cry it out, because it is coming out. It's normal, natural. But we become like the society just put all those labels on us to become like, I have to be this way. And they really read in a book that a few years ago with the Canadian author. His name is Andrew Dudley, and the book it's called Day One. And what I really like in that book, and I have it everywhere. I have it on the fridge. I have it in my bedroom. I have it in on the mirror. It said, uh, the sentence said, "Am I living up to what is important to me, or am I just satisfying a list of requirements that life has imposed on me? What is important to me? Something that passionate about, instead of just doing it because I'm doing it for my girlfriend. So she go, oh boy, I have a good boyfriend, I have a good husband. Oh, I'm doing it for my wife. I'm not doing it for my dad. Oh, man, he wants to be a doctor. Oh, I'm making my dad proud. Are you making yourself proud? Are you making your passion proud? What you are good at? How many doctors they study like for many years and they spend 100,000 or more, and they realize it's not their passion. They wait till parent pass away or something and say, I was just doing it for my parent. Well, you're wasting all that time and lying to yourself and like going like living miserable life. So this is what stick with me, Paul, is like, am I living up to what is important to me, or just satisfying a list of requirements that life has imposed on me? And living up to what is important to you could be asking for a coach to help you to do what you're passionate about or something like that. So for the next question that will bring us, my friend, I know we have another 6 minutes, and we will wrap it up. So next question is, like, we know the mindset, we know there is struggle, we know there is the mindset that will get us from that struggle to move from that rat rate or whatever you call it, and that bad spot, I will call it, or stuck spot. So now I have get from that, I have the mindset. What is next so I don't go back to that?
Daily practice. You got to do it every single day. You got to train your mind every single day. The moment, I get worried when my clients say, I got this. Mm-hmm. I get scared from them when they say, I got this. I'm like, well, what do you got? And they say, well, my mindset's good now. I go, your mindset's good right this moment, but what's tomorrow going to bring? There's something that's going to happen in your, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but there's going to have to be things in your life that are going to be unpleasant that we're going to have to deal with. It could be death in the family, breakups, divorce, whatever. There's going to be stuff that's going to happen to you that are going to throw you off kilter. So if you think to yourself, I got this, my mindset is good, you're going to be knocked off that mountain really quick, and there's going to be a long fall. But if you keep yourself humble and go, you know what, this is daily practice. I need to think about gratitude every single day. I need to think about the positive things every day, and I need to be intentional about it every day. Then when bad things happen, you're more equipped to handle them. It's going to be hard either way, but I'd rather be more equipped to handle it. That way I can handle it in a more efficient manner.
I love that. So daily practice is the key. Let's bring a Chinese proverb say, don't give me a fish, but teach me how to catch a fish. So that's just aligned with that, because if every time I need help with someone, I will come to that person. But if I don't really learn the lesson, I will just keep going back to that person. So changing the mindset, and need to practice, need to learn the tools that I will use it when I am in that spot. And that's definitely what we need. And also it said, like, when the student is ready, the teacher appear. But sometimes when the student ready, the teacher disappear.
Yep.
Because I have the tool, I need to work now with it. I don't need, like, I get it, like as I said, the mindset, I have it now, I'm good. But they live and they go, oh, Paul, I'm back to where I started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny. It's like I have clients that'll go like, oh, I can't wait for my call with you. I can't wait for my call, and I feel flattered that they feel that way, because after our call they feel good. But I go, you need to do this, because normally I do 2 calls a month. I go, you need to work on those weeks where I'm not talking to you, and just imagine that I'm in your head, and think to yourself, what would Paul say? What would Paul say right now? And visualize what I would say, and then do it. Because you're right. I mean, the greatest thing for me to do is teach them how to fish so they can eat for a lifetime. And that's what I preach to them. I go, look at, I'm here today, but things might change. I'm not, always going to be there for you. You got to really put in these tools into play, so down the road you can just go back to it and go, oh yeah, that's what Paul used to say to me. This is how I'm supposed to get over those bad things and improve. I mean, that's another thing that I think is important, that we not compete against anybody else. We compete against ourselves and just try to be a better person every day. Because when you start to compete against somebody else, it's not going to work, because you don't know where their starting line is and you don't know where their finishing line is. So just don't worry about what the other people are doing. And if you feel like somebody's ahead of you, that's when you go to them and go, hey, how'd you get to where you got to? And more times than not, they'll tell you, because they're flattered that you came to them and said, hey, I'm at a high level and you're coming for help. So it goes back to that seeking help is not a weakness. It is such a strength, and we need to embrace that.
What's a powerful way to end. It's amazing. Like, seeking help is not really weakness. And a lot of time people, like, ego, or like, I know it all, or I'm better, and they don't ask for answer. That's what's pushed them away from really learning, like ignorance, and they've been arrogant, and being also shy. Those 3 things that kill learning. And I like when you shared about, it's not about being the best. It's not about being the best, but being better than who I was yesterday. Better than who I was yesterday is what I'm focused on. Because if you focus on competition, I want to compete with this, but let's focus on complement each other. Then you will have some sense of gratitude. You will have some sense of love, and you act from that. And if you need help, ask for it. What is the last thing to finish with, Paul? And also, before finish that, also, if people want to reach Paul or contact Paul, what's the best way to follow you? Or
Yeah, thank you. The easiest way to get in touch with me is through my website. It's called a call to action.coach. And I have, you can sign up on my website. I even have my cell phone on my website. If you want to go old school and call me and set up an appointment that way, I'm good with that either way. And I do a free consultation, a free coaching session. That way we see if we're fit for each other, and we'll try to come up with some sort of plan. And if we're not a fit, I have several other coaches I work with that may be a better fit for you, because I feel that I want to do right by the client. And if I feel that I'm not the best coach for them, I'm going to be honest with them, because I know that when I send that person to somebody else, another client will come that will be perfect for me, and we'll have a good relationship. So I feel like you said, if we want to raise the waters up for everybody. If we raise the waters up for everybody, everybody wins.
100%. So just Paul will share with me his information, and they will share it on the podcast at the description, and you guys can contact Paul for any information or any contact. Think our show come to an end, my friend, and I would like to thank you very much. And one last word, my friend, and we will wrap it up and say goodbye to our audience, beautiful audience.
Well, my last words to your audience is, if you believe you can achieve, and everybody has a special talent, we just got to find out what that special talent is. And when we find what that special talent is, we need to share it with the world to see.
Love that. Find that special talent and don't die with it. Share it with the world and die empty. So that way everyone will remember you and your little legacy on this planet. Ladies and gentlemen, our show come to an end. Ali Dose of Inspiration bring guests from all over the world to share their story of hope, rebirth, and resiliency. Till next time, have a wonderful one. Thank you very much, everyone.